Right, I thought I'd do a sort of battle of the German giants, if you like. And these are two rifles, really, two air rifles that have come from a largely target air rifle manufacturer. Both Anchutz and Steyr, really, when it comes to the air guns, are probably more famed for their target rifles. And their HFT and FT shooting rifles than they are for their hunting guns. In fact, both companies really, certainly Anchutz only produce the hunting version of the 9015, which is what you see here, and Steyr produced the hunting 5 and also the Pro X, which uses a slightly modified hunting 5 action, but in a bullpup configuration, and that's it. The other rifles in their ranges are all HFT or target or even Olympic target shooting rifles. So really, both of these have got pedigree that's come from target shooting heritage, whether that's HFT or Olympic 10 metre. The Anchutz in particular is really a modified 10 metre target rifle, and aspects of the Steyr have come from their, especially the action, from their target pistol, believe it or not, the LP50, which uses the same rapid fire self-indexing mechanism as the hunting 5 auto. So let's have a quick look. So as you can see, both of them come with walnut stocks. They're both the same length. They both weigh about the same. They're both of fairly standard configuration, which is the air cylinder over the barrel. Neither of them have a shrouded barrel. They both just have the bare barrels. And they both got really good match quality triggers. So, what are the differences? Well, the main difference obviously is that the Anchutz is a single shot. Load it straight, pellet straight into the breech, straight into the barrel, and you get one shot. Whereas the Steyr, in both forms, hunting 5 auto and just plain hunting 5, operates off a 5-shot stick magazine, an aluminium 5-shot stick magazine, which is one of those, and it's a fairly straightforward magazine, nothing complicated about it at all, just an aluminium stick with the 5 holes in and the grooves in the bottom for the indexing. Little pellet indent on the top, engraved on the top of it, show you which way to load it. Dead straightforward. And the Steyr loads from, as everyone knows, seen my videos, a little biathlon style side lever. Now, in both of these, in the hunting 5 version and the normal hunting 5 version and hunting 5 auto, the hunting 5 is, even though it's not an automatic, the hunting 5 version is still incredibly quick to shoot, because you can reach that with just one finger. So you just literally pull it off the trigger, cock, bang, cock, bang, cock, bang. It's dead easy, really quick. It's the fastest loading sort of lever style rifle I've ever seen or used. And obviously in the self-indexing version, which this is, you just cock it once and then just pull the trigger and you get 5 shots. But even the standard hunting 5 is a very rapid shooting rifle, because of that easy to reach lever. The Anchutz, on the other hand, is a side lever operation, and like I say, it's just a single shot. Now both of these have got really good stocks, really nice. This comes up like a dream, and so does this. The stock on the Anchutz is perhaps the more detailed of the two, and certainly the more let's say, target focused of the two. For starters, it's got an almost vertical pistol grip, which is favoured by target shooters. The checkering feels hand cut rather than laser cut. It's really grippy. The thumb hole's really nice. You've got a really nice sort of finger rest for your thumb there. And if you flick it over on the other side, you have got a very nice groove where the finger fits in. Really nice. It takes perfectly to the trigger, and it's got a palm swell on it as well. The Anchutz has also got a Monte Carlo style cheek piece, which raises it slightly, and it's made of walnut. It's not got an adjustable butt pad, but obviously, you know, any adjustable butt pad can be fitted to it. It's fairly straightforward, but as standard, it hasn't got one. When you look at the Steyr has got an adjustable butt pad, but it's got no cheek piece at all, and it's just got the finger grips and the same sort of grooving on both sides. The Steyr's a bit more ambidextrous. Left-handed shooters could easily shoot the Steyr, whereas you can't shoot the Anchutz really if you're left-handed, because that stock is really not suitable because of the palm swell, the way that the thumb groove here is, and the fact that it's got a Monte Carlo cheek piece as well. So that's the basic difference in stocks. Then we come to the triggers. Now, the Steyr trigger was the second best trigger that I have ever used. The first being, when I first got this, my Steyr electronic triggers. They're amazing. They're so light, so predictable, really, really nice. And this ran them a very close second. This is a very, very good trigger. Multi-adjustable. First stage is adjustable. Second stage is adjustable. Weight's adjustable. The trigger slides up and down the rail. You can tilt it slightly. It's a really, really nice trigger. Really good. Proper match grade trigger. Really nice. Now on the Pro X, the trigger is set and you can't do anything with it. You can't adjust it on the Pro X. It's only the Hunting 5 and the Hunting 5 Auto that you can adjust the triggers on. So it's a really, really good trigger. And that was the second best trigger after the electronic Steyr trigger. And I have to say it was almost as good. Really, really good. Top notch. But then I got this. And this really does show the 10 metre target rifle pedigree. This trigger's phenomenal. It's better than the Steyr trigger. You can set this to just 50 grams, which is ridiculously light. It's so predictable. It's a beautifully crisp, light let off. It's amazing. You can adjust it in more ways than you could possibly believe. It's offset over to the right hand side of the rifle, so it makes it fall better for the pad of your thumb. And all in all, it's the best trigger I've ever used, and you can tell that this is really a 10 metre Olympic target rifle that's been converted into a hunting gun. So this is by a fair way the best trigger I've ever used. The Steyr trigger is incredible. For a hunting rifle, it is head and shoulders above almost anything else I've ever shot on a hunting gun. But this is something else. It's ridiculous. There are a lot of people who don't like a particularly light trigger, but you can make this slightly heavier. It comes set from the factory at 100 grams, which again is ridiculously light, but it's so predictable that it's not a problem. It's just wondrous trigger. This is really good. The fore end, there is no real fore end on the Anchutz. To keep the weight down, because obviously Olympic target rifles and HFT rifles and field target rifles generally tend to be quite heavy, so that they sit, you know, they're quite heavy rifles, so you've got that stability. So, but obviously you don't want to be lugging around a rifle that weighs 11 pounds in the hunting field. So what they've done to cut the weight down is they've fitted it with this walnut stock, skeletonized it to get rid of the weight, and it's also got no front furniture whatsoever, nothing. You have got a carbon fibre shroud on the air cylinder to hold or the front of the action here is very smooth and makes a nice thing to hold. On the Steyr, obviously you have a full length stock with a schnabel tip on the end, and the air cylinder sits really deep within it and gives it that quite sleek lines. It's a lovely looking rifle, the Steyr. Shot count, well, they both fill up to 200 bar, so you get 200 shots really out of both of them. They're both regulated, and in my experience of shooting these, I'd say you're going to get 200 shots out of both really. So there's virtually no difference at all in the shot count. Power output, again, you can tweak them. There is facilities to tweak them slightly, but you're looking at, from the factory, about 10.5 to 11 foot-pounds in 177 for both. They don't sell the Anchutz in 2.2. They do with the Steyr, and obviously that's about probably just over 11 foot-pounds in 2.2. The barrels are superb. Again, no shrouding. The Anchutz barrel's a bit heavier. It's a thicker barrel, heavier barrel, and it's fully stainless steel. And the Steyr barrel is blacked and really rather nice. Cylinders, same capacity. The difference being that the Steyr one now is a quick fill. The early versions of the Hunting 5 and the Hunting 5 Auto had cylinders that had to be removed and screwed onto the cylinder to charge them, but the newer ones, well, I think all the ones that have come to the UK are equipped with a quick fill cylinder. The Anchutz sadly isn't. That you have to unscrew it and screw it onto the cylinder. You can get a conversion. It's about 60 quid, and it's a similar sort of thing to what they've done to the Steyr one. It just screws on the front between the manometer and the cylinder. It just extends the cylinder slightly by about 1 centimetre or so. So you can get that. It's an extra 60 quid, but as it comes from the factory, you have to screw the cylinder on the Anchutz out to charge it, whereas the newer Steyrs you don't. Manometers are in the same place on the front, both pretty similar, both easy to read, nothing really in it. When it comes to fitting a silencer or fitting a air stripper, the Anchutz, the end of the barrel on the Anchutz is threaded on the inside of the barrel, and you get this little adapter. It's got a UNF thread on one side of it, and then on the other side is the thread that screws into the barrel, so you can put that on and put an air stripper or a silencer on at your wish. One of the main disappointments in the Steyr is the fact that it has no facilities as it comes for fitting a silencer or an air stripper. You have to buy one of these little adapters. They're about 30-40 quid, I think, something like that. They're about 30 quid. They're not dear, but they're not very exact. I have had ones that moved about a bit and weren't centralised to the barrel. Like any slip over one, it's not the best solution in the world. But it's the only way that you will be able to fit a silencer or an air stripper on, unless you get one that slides over the top, but that's not very good really. So that is it's a bit of a letdown on Hunting 5 really, the Steyrs. It's something to do apparently with the law in Austria that forbids the selling of screw cut barrels that you can attach a moderator or a silencer onto. When it comes to accuracy, well, I have to say I've had the Steyr a long time and it's a superbly accurate rifle. It really is. It's blisteringly good. And I've shot both of these now head to head out the back at 22 yards, and there's nothing in it. Both of them make single hole groups, and I don't mean a ragged sort of cloverleaf single hole group or whatever. I mean literally every 177 pellet goes through the same hole. So when you look at the target, it looks like it's been shot once, even though you can put 5 or even 10 shots through it. Both of these rifles will produce single hole groups at that range. Pushing it out a bit, well, I've not really had the Anchutz long enough to give it a really thorough testing, and I've not done that big a pellet testing review of it, but certainly from the results that I've had so far, I would say again that it is possibly a little bit better than the Steyr Auto, possibly, but I'm not absolutely convinced. I need to really do more of a sort of test head to head, really, which is what I will be doing. I'll be taking both of these out when I get a chance and giving them a good testing head to head, but first I need to find the best pellet for the Anchutz. So far, I think the Anchutz is slightly less pellet fussy than the Steyr. The Steyr is quite pellet fussy. It is a bit of a pellet fussy rifle, the Steyr. Not only because of the way the magazine works, because if you don't get the right size pellets, they drop out the magazine or fall through the magazine. So you've got to find the right pellet not only to fit the mag, but then also the right pellet to fit the barrel as well. Whereas the Anchutz, obviously you only have to find the pellets to fit the barrel. And so far I would say that the Anchutz is a lot less pellet fussy than the Steyr. Once you've found the right pellets with the Steyr, you're home and running, because it's a super accurate rifle. So there you go. So that's the Steyr Hunting 5 Auto and the Anchutz 9015, two rifles with a mainly target HFT HT based pedigree that have now entered the hunting field, and they're both mighty fine rifles. They really are. Both supremely accurate, both extraordinarily well made, and they both have got great ergonomics. They come up to the eye beautifully, the pair of them. The Hunting 5 obviously has the benefit of the fact that it's got 5 shots and it's a self-indexing semi. The Anchutz has the benefit of having the better trigger and the ability to fit a silencer to it without the problems of a slip over adapter. So there you go. So I guess, and they're both roughly the same money. So I suppose it all comes down to the fact that you pays your money and you takes your choice. But I have to say, I think they're both fantastic rifles. I really do. They're both really good examples of a gunmaker's art. And they show what a company that's really, you know, been dedicated for years to making target rifles or HFT rifles or field target rifles, you know, like the 100 and the 110 and the Challenger from Steyr, super famous rifles in that sphere. And then the Anchutz range, the ones that have been modified in this country to give 12 foot, just under the 12 foot-pound limit, and now these ones that are coming in direct from the manufacturer at just under the 12 foot-pound limit, well, about the 11 foot-pound limit to be fair, because they are slightly less powerful. You know, it shows what they can do. When they put their minds to it, they can produce beautiful hunting rifles. And they're just phenomenal bits of kit. They're so well made. Really, really nice. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.